Hi, I've had some awesome questions this week, and I wanted to get on here and address a few of the questions I've had. The first question was, what are macros? And this is a case where we've used a kind of a fancy word for something that's really not that fancy. Macros are macronutrients. They are the substrates, which is kind of another fancy word, that make up our diets. So there's three of them. There are carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And everybody is going to eat some variety of those, and that makes up their diet. We are all going to have some percentage of those that every day you're going to eat some percentage of those. Now, depending on what particular diet plan you're on, your percentage might look different than someone else's. For example, someone that's on a keto diet might try to keep their percentage of carbs down to perhaps 5 or 10% of their diet plan. While someone who's not watching their carbs, their diet plan might be more like 50% of their total intake is more carbohydrates. So those values are generally going to vary from person to person depending on what your goals are for your nutrition. You don't really know what you intake of your macros until you start logging them or paying attention to them. There is lots of different ways to do that, but one of my personal favorite ways is a free app called MyFitnessPal. And you can do that on the computer, or you can do that on an app on, I think it is on Apple or for Droid too. And it's super easy to use. And it has a section where at the end of the day, you can tally up your macros. And it'll even show you on a nice little pie chart how many carbs, how many fats, and how much protein you've intaked. Now, I have patients a lot that will come to me and say, I'm diabetic, I'm a heart patient, so I need to have a low-fat diet. So basically they're trying to tell me they need to have a low sodium, low fat, and low carb diet. And the short answer to that is it's not possible. It's truly not possible to eat low fat, low carb, and then if you're a kidney patient, low protein. You can't do it. All those percentages have to add up to 100. So if you cut back your carbs, then proteins and fats have to make up the rest. So those percentages by default have to go up to feed you. So I always encourage people to not think about what they can't eat, but to start thinking about what they can eat. And we'll talk more about that in some more videos later, is that we're gonna start trying to think more about feeding our body and fueling our bodies. And we're gonna start thinking more about food as a fuel. So I hope this answered your question about what macros were.